All right, welcome to episode 8 of The Climb. Welcome to The Climb. This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. In fact, The Climb is an acronym. That's what it stands for, creating leverage in the music business. And I want to introduce you to my supremely talented co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter. Brent is an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And Brent also is altruistic. He helps artists and songwriters like you turn pro by teaching the art and craft and business of songwriting. And you can visit Brent at manvsrow.com. That's manvsrow.com. What's up, Brent?
Hey, I'm excited, and I'm excited to introduce you guys to Johnny. Johnny Dwinell owns Daredevil Production. It's an innovative artist development company. Not only do they develop and improve your artistry, they also grow and monetize your fan base, creating cash flow. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular, no S. Hey, Johnny. How's it going?
How are you, brother? I'm good, man.
I'm good.
I am good. I'm excited today. We are going to talk about awareness.
Yes.
For some reason, the entertainment industry seems to have an exorbitantly high amount of blissfully unaware people.
The listeners aren't quite as blissful, but yeah.
On how it works. Than any other industry. Now, that is to say that, I mean, look, we've all been surrounded by people in our world, in our job, whatever we're doing, that are unaware. They just kind of show up. They're zombies. They do their job. They go home and whatever, and they're just blissfully unaware. There's an old saying out there that says there's 3 kinds of people in the world. There's people that make things happen. There's people that watch things happen, and there's people that wonder what happened. Yeah. And the blissfully unaware are the people that wonder what happened. And when you get a job at McDonald's, let's say, and you know what, if McDonald's has created more millionaires than. So this is not a job I'm looking down my nose at. This is a great organization that you can get into, but you know what's expected of you. You know what you're supposed to do. I'm supposed to show up. I'm supposed to put the fries in the grease, for 8 hours a day, take the money, it's very clear cut what you're supposed to do. And then you leave. You can still be blissfully unaware at that job, but you don't really have to know how to hustle McDonald's or be an owner unless you want to be an owner. Then you got to be aware of franchise. You got to take another level up of awareness. Right. So people in the entertainment industry are just incredibly blissfully unaware. I mean, they think they're going to hop right off the bus with a hayseed in their mouth and run into Tony Brown and get a record deal. And it's all, I'm going to sing in a corner and it's going to happen like that. And next thing you know, I'm going to be Carrie Underwood. I'm going to be.
Well, that's how it happens on TV shows, man.
That's right. Well, and you're right.
We fake them out. I think it's our tourism board that sells that stuff. That way, it's easy. Come on.
They're not dummies. They're very aware.
We got a high, sales tax. Come on, spend some money.
So I want to talk about awareness in terms of success. I mean, a lot of people are like, I'm a great songwriter. I'm a great artist. We're a great indie band. We deserve success. And the question is, do you really deserve success? Most people think they deserve success, but they really aren't deserving of success because they haven't done the amount of work that's required to become successful. Mm-hmm. And that seems so stupidly simple and overly simplistic, I guess it would be a better word. But think about it in terms of, Ty Lopez used this example, weight loss. Do you deserve to lose 100 pounds?
Not if I haven't lost 100 pounds.
What's required to deserve to lose 100 pounds? It's awareness. You have to be aware that what kind of caloric intake your body can take and what kind of energy you burn off by being sedentary and what kind of amount of energy you burn off by exercising and different kinds of exercise and what kind of calories are created in the body when you consume this amount of grams of sugar, of protein, of carbohydrates, et cetera, et cetera. You have to be aware that you can't eat processed food if you're planning on losing weight. You know, it just isn't going to happen. You know, your body consumes calories. And if you aren't aware of how this works, then you're never going to be able to create the blueprint, a realistic blueprint for how to lose the weight. Because people choose to be blissfully unaware, the diet pill business and the diet, you know, machine business, exercise machine business is just a massive industry because people are looking for some easy way out. Right. They make a deal with themselves that they can lose weight without the plain and simple fact that you have to be aware in order for you to lose weight, you have to cut your calories and increase your exercise. Right. This is the only way to do it. And I'm coming from a guy who's I mean, I was skinny my whole life, but I'm getting old now and I'm gaining weight like crazy. And then I go on and I buckle down. And guess what? When I cut my calories and I'm aware of every single thing that I put in my mouth, some people aren't even aware of what they're eating. Not the fact that they're eating chocolate or they're eating sugar, but that they are in fact eating. They're just eating. Mindless eating. Yeah, they're unaware of it. So, you know, extrapolate that out to the music industry, to a songwriter, being a pro songwriter, being an indie band, being an artist. Another really good example of awareness, by the way, and this is kind of just a different look at it, but remember when you got the last new car that you got, even if it wasn't brand new, it was new to you, right? But you never had that model before. You remember the day you got that car and you're like, okay, I got the new car, everything's great. And you go to a stop sign, all of a sudden, every moron on the planet's got that car. You see it everywhere, right? All of a sudden, they become out of the woodwork. All these cars come, and you're like, when did everybody buy this Toyota Camry? Like, I don't understand. Because you never noticed it before because you weren't aware of it. And now that you're an owner, you have an awareness of the vehicle, and now it's everywhere. So creating, the reason I share this with you is creating awareness provides clarity. All of a sudden, you start to see things for what they really are. And then you start to understand that, okay, I've got to tackle this here and this here if I'm going to get from here to here, you know? You know, most people tell stories to themselves based on false information. We've heard that a million times in the music industry. You know, well, they don't like boys from Arkansas with beards and dark hair. And that's why I can't be a professional songwriter. If I had red hair, I'd be better. You know, I mean, just stupid stories like this.
Or I think, you know, we're doing everything right. We're waiting for the right person to walk through the door. So we don't have to learn anything. We're doing everything right. It's just a matter of time, and there's politics, something kind of out of my control, versus awareness of, wow, I'm really stiff as a board on stage, and I sing like a board, or whatever.
And we could hustle a little bit better. And instead of waiting for us to meet the right people, we could be aware that, you know what, if I become an undeniable force, if I do what Florida Georgia Line did before they got their deal, we'll sell 100,000 downloads of their single. Everybody's going to come out of the woodwork. Yeah. Just like those Toyota Camrys, they're going to be all around you going, hey man, what's your name? Where you stays at? Who you working with? Like they're going to want to work with you because you created it.
You know, I had, this makes me think of something that I went through as a writer. I mean, because like, say you talk about the McDonald's example, you know, you're flipping burgers and dunking fries and stuff. And the feedback is quick and it's very clear. It's hard to be blissfully unaware of your job there because you have a manager looking over you and you have very set up tasks. Like songwriting, what I do, trying to get other people to record my music, it's not very clear. You might think that your job is just to write songs or whatever. And there are a lot of writers that are writing songs and they're taking care to really write well, and they're not getting cuts. And, you know, it's easy to think about, oh, well, I'm just doing everything I need to do. Either my plugger's not doing their job or it's all political or whatever, or I'm doing everything. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, and tell myself a story that's more comforting. One thing I try to do, because, you know, I had an activity lull, and I was like, okay, I need to find out what's going on, you know, or how can I just up my game? Because I'm not getting the activity I want to get. I'm getting some, but I'm not getting enough. And I started going around asking people for feedback and trying to get honest feedback. And I got some honest feedback from someone who was just an associate, not a close friend, but it was honest and it was hard to hear. And I had one buddy that was like, and this person was like, well, you're kind of, some of this stuff is kind of dated and da-da-da. And, was poking some holes in some of the stuff I brought for him. And, it hurts your pride because I'd already had, cuts and a hit by that time. So I wasn't a complete newbie. I was telling a buddy of mine about that, and another songwriter who wasn't getting as much activity as he wanted either. And he was like, just forget him, man. You're a great writer and you know what you're doing, and just don't listen to that kind of mess. I was like, no, he's in a position of like A&R. I need to listen and filter it through what I know to be true, what I don't, but remove ego, remove pride, remove the story that's easier for me to tell myself. If I'm doing everything fine, I don't need to change the way I'm doing things. I'm going all right. It's some other reason I'm not getting as many cuts as I want. And go, okay, well, what is he telling me? Let's look at some metrics. Let's prove if what he's saying is true. So I did research and was like, you know what? Yeah, he's right. And my ego didn't have any place, it doesn't have a seat at the table because I'm here to win. And I can't let my ego trip me up or my comfort level with how I was already conducting business. And I started changing the way I was writing. And I think I've gotten better results from that and have, brought more value with my writing. I'm more aware of really what works and what doesn't work, instead of being in my own comfortable little cocoon where I just get to write my songs and feel good about them and throw them out there and then kind of not take responsibility for what happens.
Do you know what the takeaways from that? Thank you for sharing that. The takeaways from that story are this. First of all, he already had a hit. Mm-hmm. He already had cuts. Mm-hmm. And still, his awareness had room to grow, right? Yes. And you sought to be more aware, even in the face of your friends saying, you're a hit songwriter, screw him, you don't need to talk to him, da-da-da. And rather than just say, well, your friend who's telling you don't worry about him was wrong, mm-hmm. and rather than you looking in the face of the A&R guy, the powers that be, saying that gave you the feedback and say, well, he's just wrong. You said, I'm going to find out for myself. Let's take the information that he's got. And you went and you did the work and you listened to whatever, 10, 20, 30 songs that are on the air right now. You looked at the lyrics and you're like, holy crap, he's right. Like,
right. I can
do sophisticated.
Right.
I can do better
stuff. I need to be more aware of this when I'm writing and maybe make some different decisions that I'm not used to making. So yeah,
I want to ask you guys that are watching this listen to this podcast or watching this right now, this live broadcast. Are you doing that? Are you willing to do that, or does your hair stand up on the back of your neck? Do you bow up, and do you become prideful? Because I've had several moments in my artist career too, where somebody just looked me right in the face and told me I was screwing up, and it pissed me off. I mean, I had to bite my lip and I had to think about it. But once the boiling temperature came down a little bit, and I realized, like, oh, what really is pissing me off is that they're right. Yeah. I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. And I hate being wrong, But I mean, that's the truth. But
you know what's worse than being wrong? Being wrong, knowing it, and continuing to be wrong.
Yeah. And what's worse than being wrong and knowing it and continuing to be wrong is being mediocre. Yeah. No artist wants to hear that. Yeah. So if you're going to be great, then you have to be on a constant quest to raise your awareness and understand this. Like, your job is to go to bed a little bit wiser every single day. Mm-hmm. What are you learning about being a songwriter? What are you learning about being an artist? What are you learning about marketing yourself as a songwriter, as an artist, as an indie band? What are you learning about writing better songs as an artist, as an indie band, as a songwriter? What are you learning about, recording techniques? I mean, if you're just doing it yourself, you're a product of the input that you receive. Mm-hmm. And the only way you're going to raise your awareness is to seek outside knowledge.
Right.
And they say knowledge is power. I disagree with that. Knowledge is potential power, and applied knowledge is power. Right. I think in episode 6, we talked about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, he knew, now he saw that actually putting 1,000 pounds in the bar and doing those calf races was going to grew that his mentor's calf muscles and bulked up his calf muscles. But until he applied that himself, it wasn't going to happen to him. It didn't turn into power for him. It didn't help him win Mr. Olympia until he put that knowledge into use and applied it, So, I think that a lot of artists and a lot of people in general are just victims of their own making. They choose a protection racket is what I call it. And they sit there and say, well, here's why this and this and this and this and this won't happen. Or they believe in the lottery event.
The only thing holding me back is I haven't gotten lucky yet.
Yeah, I haven't met that one person that's going to change my life. And with my artists, I'll always tell them, Brent, I'm like, what happens if you do? What happens if I get every head of every record label and every head of every booking agency from CAA to William Morris, and I get all the publishers down there, all the people on Music Row that make all the decisions in country music. And what happens if I get them down to watch your show? What are you going to do? What if they say, yes, we love them, but you're not in a position to do anything for them right now. You can't move the needle in their business yet because you haven't done enough of your own business to bring them in. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's where you have to understand where you are in your journey. And every single day, you've got to make steps today to make tomorrow better. Tomorrow is not going to be better simply because you want it to be.
Right.
The only way that you can make tomorrow better is by working today. And that's another awareness factor. Think about that. Like people that are aware that know, like, oh my gosh, I've only got 24 hours today. I got to spend, 6 of them sleeping. And most artists are spending more than that, right? They're like 8 to 12 sleeping and the other 12. I mean, that's a problem right there. But I mean, there's not one single event in your career that's going to quote unquote change your mind about your committing 100% to your artist career. I find that too often, like artists and writers, especially amateur writers who are trying to break through and get professional, like, well, I'm just going to write these songs. They treat it like a lemonade stand. I'm just going to write these songs. I'm going to buy these lemons, right? And then I'm going to sell these lemons. And once I make a profit from them, then I'm going to go back and buy some more lemons. I'm going to write some more songs, but not until something happens here. And it doesn't happen that way. This isn't a, you mentioned with the McDonald's analogy, employment is really instant reciprocal altruism. Instant reciprocal altruism. You have some limited, scarce resources, your time, and your skill set to an employer. And your employer returns the favor, reciprocates with another scarce resource, money.
Money, right.
And so it's instant. And so we go to work 40 hours a week. We expect to be paid X amount of money. That's the deal that we make. And I'm immediately reimbursed for my time.
Right.
But if you talk to all the guys in Silicon Valley, the venture capital companies, VC money, we call it, right? And I've done a lot of work out there within the electronics industry. Man, they don't go in and, here's $20 million to Twitter when they first started out, and it's the end of the week. Hey, time's up. Where's it?
All right. Where's my
we need our return, our ROI. It doesn't work that way. They know it's going to take time to build this brand, to get the speed bumps, the kinks worked out, to bring it to the market. They're going to have production challenges. They're going to have marketing challenges. They're going to have personnel challenges. They're going to have legal challenges. All these things, they're expecting that, and usually it's like a 5-year plan. So they're aware. Back to the awareness factor that this is going to take some time, and we're going to do this. And so you can't go in with an awareness of I'm going into a 9-to-5 job and I'm going to get instant ROI, apply that to an artist career,
right,
and expect to not be frustrated.
Yeah, because it takes so long just to get the chops to have something of value.
Yeah, because it takes time to learn. I mean, very rarely does somebody come in. Very rarely we have Prince at 17 years old where he comes in with a hit song. Not only does he come in with this hit song, but has this somehow, back before people had home recording studios, innate understanding of how to make a record. Yeah, right. That is an art in and of itself. It's why producers make money. Because we have this artist who writes incredible songs, can sing the phone book and make you weep and break down and cry and touch some nerve and bring up some crap from your past and make you feel something. But that doesn't mean they know how to make a record, And so every single day you need to be working at something so that when you do get that opportunity, you're in a position to take advantage of it. But preparation is day to day to day to day. What do you know about marketing? your music? How can you improve that? The story that you're telling inside your head that, well, marketing takes $500,000 to get number one song, so screw that. We're not going to talk about marketing. That's a protection racket. Okay. Mm-hmm. There are artists out there who had very little money, who had no money, who figured out how to make this happen and get to where they are now, mm-hmm. which is to say that they've come into your awareness. Mm-hmm. As a consumer, right? You know who they are. You know who John Bon Jovi is. You know who U2 is. You know, you're aware of Jay-Z. You're aware of Lady Gaga. You like them or don't like them, but you know who they are. You probably have an opinion on their music one way or the other. They didn't just press an easy button and become stars. Right. You know, every single day they were working on their marketing, I mean, if you think that Bono just writes songs in a corner, man, Bono is the only guy that I ever found to convince Steve Jobs to create some kind of relationship with him. Like Steve Jobs didn't care anything. He cared about art. He cared about bringing it back, but he wasn't, playing favorites to anybody, but Bono sold him. And the first iPod came out with a U2 iPod. You remember that? I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, it's insane. Mm-hmm. But so these are the things that you need to focus on. Things that you don't want to focus on. Bad business deals. We've all got them. We've all had them. Mm-hmm. You learn from them, you move on. Health problems. Just about everybody you know has got some kind of health issue that they've had to overcome. That's not an excuse to lay down and go to bed. Difficulty getting your band together, difficulty keeping your band together. God, if I hear that one more time, I can't take it. You know, I came from Delavan, Wisconsin. It was a town of 5,000 at the time. And the band that I put together, you know, just because we were dedicated, wanted to play, and we went through different members in that small town, in the surrounding little communities of 5,000 people over time through high school and everything like that. But we went all the way up to Warner Brothers, knocking on the door there, okay, because we wanted it. And so when everybody says, well, there's just no players around here, it's just real hard, I'm like, okay, you just me right away. You're right. You know, you're right. You can, and you're right. And so that's it right there. So you can't let that get in the way. Money. You can't let money get in the way with you. If you are deserving of success and you do the work on your songwriting, on your image, on your marketing, on your live show, so that you become undeniable and you're touching people and you're moving people and they're finding out about you and it's creating a buzz, then believe me, the money, the managers, the booking agents, the record deals, everybody will come out of the woodwork and want to work with you, but not until you're deserving of it. And if you don't have it yet, it's because you don't deserve it. You're missing something. And it's probably marketing, because that's the biggest sort of failure I see in artists who are really friggin' awesome. Like they just can't connect on how to reach the fans. But it's about a buzz. I mean, nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. You know, if you're the protection racket in your head is, I'm going to write this song, I'm going to record it amazingly, and then I'm going to put it on YouTube, and it's going to go viral. That's
going to go.
Yeah.
That is a very passive way of saying it. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. And I'm going to have 20 million hits and dude, we're going to get paid. You know, no, that's not what happens. You know, there's a lot more work that goes into that. Most of the viral videos that you're aware of from artists like Carmen, from artists like Noah Guthrie, that broke on YouTube, there was a lot of work that you never saw before that big video, you know? Yeah. So that's it. You have to have awareness of the kind of work that it takes and the curiosity to seek that out and not be afraid to make a mistake. Because let me save you the suspense. You're going to make a mistake. You make a lot of mistakes. Success is not about avoiding mistakes. Success is about when you get knocked off your horse, how quickly are you going to get back up again? And how much more determined are you going to be when you get on there? You know, Brent, how many times have you been up, on, and knocked off the horse in your songwriting career to date? Can you count that high?
No, a lot. I mean, it's, you know, the most successful songwriters are the ones that get turned down the most, get their songs passed on the most, because you got to do a lot of work to get your songs in front of a lot of people so it can get turned down a lot. So, yeah. I mean, hopefully every day my songs are getting passed on. I hope so, because that means they're getting pitched for somebody every day and getting heard every day. So, yeah, it's like, you know, the most successful writers are the ones that get turned down the most because their songs are all over the place.
And you know what? Let's go back to bands. I mean, Van Halen, most people don't know this, but they were turned down by every record label twice. Florida Georgia Line turned down by every record label until they sold 100,000 downloads of their own single. They did it on their own. And then everybody that turned them down was like, this is genius. I mean, this is totally going to work. We want to sign you, because they became undeniable. Do you think anybody wanted to sign Motley Crue? That's in my mind right now because they're on their 30th anniversary farewell tour. The band is over with. Their last shows on December 31st. Nikki Sixx used to set himself on fire in the clubs. The suits, man, when they go down from the record labels and they see that, they're like, not only that, of course, they're drug addicts. They were a mess back then. Nobody wants to work with them. Nobody gave a damn about their music. Nobody cared. You know who cared about Motley Crue's music? Motley Crue. And you know what they did? They figured out a way to make a record back in the day when it cost a lot of money to make a record. And then you know what they did? They figured out how to market it on their own. And you know what they did? They sold 40,000 copies in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Then they became undeniable and they got signed. Okay.
If a bunch of drug addicts who set themselves on fire and didn't have
the most genius thing ever.
If a garage band can do that, what's your excuse? That's right.
I mean, there it is. So these bands that you love, that man, they believe me. John Bon Jovi, last story. John Bon Jovi, I mean, arguably one of the greatest songwriters from the 80s. I mean, I love I'm an 80s rock guy, you know this, so I'm partial to this.
It's becoming readily apparent, Johnny. Your Motley Crue. You got Rat and Cinderella.
I mentioned Florida Georgia Line. Cole Swindell, same way, by the way. Cole Swindell, he didn't have a deal until, what was it?
Luke Bryan?
The first song. What was the first song he released? I can't remember the name of it.
Was it Cruising? Or no, not Cruising. That's Florida Georgia Line. That one.
Anyway, his first single, he self-released that. He promoted that himself. And when it started to make some moves and get some stuff happening, then people came out and helped him, even though he was best friends with Luke Bryan. That wasn't enough. Florida Georgia Line was backed by the most successful songwriters in the industry and they got in front of every single person that they needed to get in front of before they got their deal. And everybody said, no, it wasn't going to work. It was too different. It wasn't until they proved themselves and had the awareness that we're going to have to do this on our own. We're going to have to make us undeniable. We're going to have to become a profitable small business with some heat before they're going to take us on. So we're running a little bit long. We need to close it up here.
Yes. And that Cole Swindell song was Chillin' It.
Chillin' It. Yes. Thank you. That was it. And so all those connections still wasn't enough. He still had to do it himself. So it's not about being the right people. It's about being aware that you need to bring something to the table that everybody else wants. And then you're going to make a lot of friends. I promise you. I mean, how many friends did you make after that first hit song?
A lot more than I had the day before.
A lot of friends. That's right. So, all right, guys. So listen, that concludes episode 8 of The C.L.I.M.B, Creating Leverage in the Music Business. If you have comments, leave them below. If you're listening to this on a podcast on iTunes, do us a favor, man. If this is beneficial to you, leave a review. Let other people know. And most importantly, if this is ringing true to you, if you think one of your artist buddies needs to hear this, lift them up a little bit, share it. We got a reputation. Do us a favor, spread it around. But once again, thank you to my good friend Brent Baxter. Buddy, appreciate you. It's been fun hanging out with you tonight. And you know what? Brent is, that's not all. That's not all. Brent's actually giving away an amazing wealth of knowledge. Knowledge is potential power. If you actually apply some of the things that you're going to learn in Brent's book that he's about to give you for free, you will improve your game. You will step it up. Brent, tell them about the book that you're giving away.
Tell them what they've won. Well, I have a free ebook that you can download. It's called Think Like a Pro Songwriter, and that's what it is meant to help you do. It's meant to help you think like me and my pro songwriting buddies think about the music business. It has tips about, easy stuff, simple but not easy, tips about how to make your songs more commercial, how to find out who's looking for songs, how to connect with the music row publisher, that kind of stuff. So it's my gift to you, which is why you can find it at giftfrombrent.com. That's gift from Brent, BRENT.com. You can get it downloaded there. Just tell me where to send it. I'll send it right off. And there's more. Johnny.
Hey,
you have a free ebook as well.
I do. I got a free ebook. It's a music marketing on Twitter book. It's a bestseller, but we give it away for free. And it's quick read. It'll demystify Twitter for you. It'll show you how everything works, the do's and the don'ts, the etiquette, and it'll give you a strategy where we can promise you, if you do exactly what I tell you to do, you get 1,000 loyal, targeted fans every single month, and it'll just take you 15 minutes a day. We show you the tools that we use to make and use Twitter in the most efficient way possible, and queue up tweets, and the different sort of strategies that you need to use to make every single tweet carry as much weight as it can possibly carry. So you can get that at giftfromjohnny.com. That's giftfromjohnny.com. And once again, leave the comments below. Reach out to Brent Baxter on Twitter, which is at Razor Baxter. Right?
Razor Baxter. Yep.
You can reach out to me on Twitter at Daredevil PROD, DaredevilProduction.com, or Daredevil Production on Twitter at Daredevil PROD, and let us know what you think. Share this, and we'll see you on the next episode, guys. We'll see you at the top.
Keep on climbing.